It's all eyes on the 8th ArtsAbility Festival this month. The festival celebrates artists with disabilities. It also seeks to address challenges that people with disabilities face daily. To speak to us some more about what we can expect from this year's festival, we're joined virtually from Cape Town by Marlene Roux, the CEO of Artscape. Marlene, thank you so much for your time this evening. We were just talking about the pandemic and what we've gone through and how I don't feel like we've all come to terms with what we lived through. But I know one thing for sure is, somebody like you especially, your heart must be bursting having artists back in Artscape and people coming in and out and enjoying the various pieces that you are putting out there. Just talk to us, before we talk about your festival coming up, talk to us about how that feels right now for you and your team.
I think what is so important is that, and thank you for having me on the show, because it's important that we talk about Disability Rights Month. But most important is that theatre is alive, because COVID has really cut us off by the knees, especially artists and also persons with disabilities. So it's two things coming together. Last week from Thursday to Saturday, we had Zip Zap Circus with the orchestra, and we nearly had 6,000 people coming through our doors. And I was chatting to you that I was needed to be like a traffic officer by saying, can you please just hold on, because I have a rule now. We will never, ever send anybody away from the theatre because we've experienced that people can't come to the theatre. It was one of it was the industry that was really being lamed. It was a no-go zone. So for us, by picking up, we want to say thank you for the patrons supporting us. We obviously, as a space, never closed down, because we believed that we needed to keep the space open, obviously in the constraints of our standard operation procedures during COVID. But the back door of Artscape never closed. So the associated companies, the community artists, everybody was still at work. Hence the fact that when it was open, because I was a lobbyist to open up the theatre, because my argument, as you can remember, if you can bring a plane full of Europeans and from all over sitting in a confined space, why not open the theatres? Because we have fully functional theatres, and now we're showing that the people want to experience live theatre.
And lest we forget, as you paint this very festive and engaging and living picture of Artscape, this was a complex that was called the Nikomelan Theatre not so long ago in our lifetime, and that was named after a former National Party administrator in the Cape Province. Now talk to me about what you're planning for the ArtsAbility Festival program. What can people expect?
I think very important is that from the journey from the Nikomelan to Artscape is a humanity journey, because apartheid was a dehumanizing process. And it was very important for us to look at programs to make this center, the Artscape Center, a humanity center, a center that we use the arts as a vehicle to bring everybody together, from different cultural backgrounds, from different geographical backgrounds, but most important, also to focus on the most marginalized communities, and still the most marginalized community. These are persons with disabilities. And hence we started 8 years ago with our partner Unmute Dance Company, who is based at Artscape, is an associated company who featured and trained dancers to be professional, and is professional already, with different disabilities and able-bodied, in order to make the public aware about the challenges but also the abilities that persons have with disabilities. Most important also, the question still is that companies don't employ persons with disabilities. They rather pay a fine than employ persons with disabilities. So we're looking at this particular month and the ArtsAbility Festival broader than just the arts. We're using the arts by saying that we need to look at equality and equity, We can all be equal. But if you don't give resources to persons that's been marginalized to get to the opportunity, we as a theatre can say we have an ArtsAbility Festival. But if we don't put artists with disabilities on stage, if we don't have accessible transport for the audience to come and see the artists on stage, in itself, you're unpacking what is the resources that we need. We also look at Artscape as a space, as a government space, where we need to have looked at the space is accessible. It is wheelchair accessible. It's for persons who's blind. We make use of deaf sign interpreters. It's very important that I need to state that disability is not a homogeneous group. It is about various types of disabilities. So we also have a specific room where parents who have children who get epileptic fits, that when we perhaps use strobic lights and the parents didn't realize that and didn't look at the program, we can at least advise the parent that we would like you to stay, but there is a space for you to go and relax, to calm down yourself or your child with a disability in order for you in a safe space to still enjoy mainstreaming.
Now,
The third aspect with the
unfortunately, I need
ArtsAbility.
to come in there, Marlene, because we have run out of time. I really could speak to you for hours. This is such an important topic, and you've been such a great activist in this space, a real firecracker leader in the activism and art space. So we do thank you for your time and for creating these important spaces, safe spaces and creative spaces for all people to feel seen and to be seen, and that is so important. So I'm going to tell our viewers to go to the Artscape websites or your various social media platforms to find out more about the 8th ArtsAbility Festival, and we do wish you and your team everything of the best with this very, very important work that you continue to do. So do go and find out more about that and support the ArtsAbility Festival this month at Artscape in Cape Town. That was the CEO of Artscape, Marlene Roux, joining us virtually.